Anybody can do this. It's not a real difficult job, I don't believe. And I'm going to try to get away with using just 2 tools. A Phillips screwdriver and a set of channel locks. I may need a set of vice grips depending on how hard it is to pull out the old valve. And I bought a couple of replacement parts just at my local hardware store. And I'll leave links for these in case you have this same faucet and you want to fix it. But these are for Moen, and this one is the pull out. So this is a 1225 that I need for the replacement. So I bought this. It's about 18 to 22 depending on where you buy it. And I also picked up a bottle of silicone grease. And this will hopefully make the new valve work really, really smooth and keep me from damaging the O-rings when I install it back into the plumbing in the wall. So that's the tools and the parts, and this is the problem. So I've shut the water off to the house, and I need to open this valve to drain out the pressure. So I'm getting a little bit of water. We'll just let that drain. We'll go to both cold and hot, just to make sure there's no pressure in there. You don't want that old valve to blow out of there when you take off a release pin. I'll show you here in a minute. But as you can see, this is real hard to pull. It may pull out an inch or so. It's easy to turn, but it's hard to push and pull. So I'm hoping this replacement will take care of it. So I'm going to start taking this apart. There's a cap here that pulls off. I'm going to set this camera up so I can use 2 hands, and I'll show you how to replace this valve. Alright, I've grabbed one more tool. I wanted a razor blade just to pop this cap off of here. If I can get underneath it with that razor blade, pop it off, and then I have a Phillips head screw to take this handle off. And I also recommend that you close the drain to the tub. Now I'm going to cover this up with a towel just to keep from losing any parts down that drain while I do work on this faucet. So something like that. That way I don't end up losing any parts down the drain of the tub. Phillips screwdriver, take out 1 screw. And I think there's a metal washer behind this, so when you pull that off, watch for that metal washer. Put these somewhere safe so I don't lose them. This one has no washer. Pull that out, kind of a beauty ring on there. And you've got a little keeper here that you need to pull out of there with you can maybe use a nail or a pick, or I'm hoping a pair of pliers. Should be able to pull straight up on it. So that came out real easy. Don't lose that. So you get this little plastic piece that comes in with the new valve if you get the Moen brand. And you can put this on the end here, and it kind of has a ridge here that fits into a groove. And you can use your pliers to try to twist that and loosen that valve up. Hopefully it'll loosen up and come out of there pretty easy. Go back and forth several times to break potentially any water deposits or anything that's back in there. It's going to cause you problems trying to pull that valve out. Then I'm going to use the channel locks and just try to grip the end of that valve and see if I can pull it. They do make a special puller for this, which I do not have. Looks like mine's going to come out pretty easy. So I got lucky. And that worked out real nice. And if you notice on the valve, you've got 2 tabs. A tab right here and a tab down here. Those need to go vertical. One on top, one on the bottom. And then that keeper pin slides right down on the edges of that. Just like that when it's installed. Now I'm going to take a screwdriver, a rag, and a flashlight and look in there and see if there's any debris, any rubber pieces from the O-rings, any pieces of metal, any water deposits, and just make sure it's clean inside. And I can't really film that, so I'll do that and then we'll come back and we'll have a look. So I've got that all cleaned out, and this one was really clean. It was real nice. I didn't really have any water deposits. There's a water softener here. at this home, so it looks really good. A few drops of water in there, but no debris. Got all the old grease and whatever cleared out, so we're ready to put in the new valve. So let's put some grease on the new valve. I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll get it put in. Now the valve does come pre-lubed somewhat, but I'm going to put more lubrication on it. So we want to put some on this top O-ring, some of this plumber's grease or silicone lubricant. Some on this piece of rubber, part of the valve here, and some on this bottom O-ring. I think there's a metal O-ring there too. All the way around both those O-rings and the piece of rubber, and that'll protect them when you slide this back in there so you don't break or cut one of those O-rings and damage it just trying to install it. Now this does go in only in one direction, and by that I mean you look at these ridges here. You've got one that goes on the top and one that goes on the bottom, and I don't know which is which. I'm going to put this hole down and hopefully we get it right. If we don't, we'll just have to turn it 180 degrees and try it the other way. And you'll know you don't have it right if your hot and cold are not set up appropriately. So I'm putting the hole down on the bottom here. Let me show you. There's the hole. I'm going to put it down and slide it in there. And then here you can take that white tool and you can use that to push it the rest of the way in. And you can also use that to align it so you can get that keeper in there if you need to. And again, don't lose it or break it. And it goes all the way down. So it's just barely above, like that. And that'll keep it from popping out when we turn the water back on. So I'm going to turn the water back on. We'll test it out and make sure I have it in there correctly, and then I'll put the beauty ring and the handle back on and we'll be done. Then once you get it put back together, I got the handle, got the cap back on, got the single Phillips screw in there to hold the handle on. One finger operation. Cold to the right and hot to the left. Warm in the middle. Real easy to shut off, and that's how you replace the Moen 1225 single handle shower valve. If you enjoyed this video or if it helped you out, don't forget to give me a thumbs up before you leave. I'll put a video on the screen now that I think you might enjoy, and we'll see you over there at that video.